back.
Right up again.
Thank you. And you were indeed correct. Aunt Jenny and I and Mom had Mother's Day dinner last week. And Aunt Jenny said to me, so what's next? And I said, hopefully a little quiet time and maybe I'll retire for a while. And she said, oh no, God has given you great gifts and you have to use those gifts and you have to keep going. Philomena, mom, was one of the most impressionable people in my life. And she and my grandmother Mary taught me just as much as I've learned in seminary. One of the primary lessons that we all learned, and I'm going to introduce you to my classmates later this evening, was a combination of both Old and New Testament, and the main theme that I walked away with was the idea of hospitality. That this idea of faith or God comes from being together, comes from sitting at a table, comes from breaking bread together. And the two wonderful cooks, both Aunt Anna and my grandmother Mary, could not have demonstrated that better than any of the professors I have come to know in the past 3 years. Lucille is here, a dear friend of the family. Her husband Frank, who started in the Marine Corps with my father, actually lamented with my mom last week about the loss of another dear friend, Carol Primavera. Carol, as many of you know, was a delightful woman who knew hospitality as well. Carol lost her oldest son, Donald, very early on, and then helped her youngest son throughout his entire life, who is severely disabled. And now both Carol and Prim are gone, but they left a legacy and a message. Hospitality matters. Family matters. Mom wanted to have this party. I didn't. Mom knows the virtue of putting family together. And I know you learned that from your mother. And you taught that to me, and I cannot be more happy. But, Philly, thank you for being here. Philly is going to an event tonight in honor of Sister Renee. And as most of you know, Sister Renee was the principal of St. John's Church in Fairview, the town that I was a police officer with for many years, and passed away last year. She was not only a dear friend of Philly and us, but she was a dear friend of my Uncle Sam, who was at graduation on Friday, who could not have been more of a powerful presence. Brief story, which I'm probably sure that you know, about how Uncle Sam and Sister Renee met.
I do, but you say it.
Uncle Sam was a young patrolman, and Sister Renee was a brand new teacher at St. John's, wearing full habit. This is right at the turn of Vatican II. And cops sometimes, and I'll introduce one of my dear friends from Seminary, John, who's a firefighter, who knows that sometimes cops and firefighters have a tough time in the public eye, but not nuns. Nuns in full habit walk into the street and everything stops. And Sister Renee, of course, does that on a major street and stopping traffic. And Uncle Sam says, Sister, I'm directing traffic. Go back inside. And Sister Renee had to do penance for a year and couldn't leave that convent because of that encounter. But they became lifelong friends. And the loss of Renee, who worked her whole life for faith, for God, for children, has been an amazing part of my journey. I'm going to introduce my new friends. So all of you in my family will know who they are and hopefully embrace them tonight. John, who I just introduced, was a firefighter before he came here. He was the first one who actually Facebooked me like, hey, I'm going to seminary with you. Last year he had the dubious challenge of working with me for a whole year in chapel. And it was an amazing year. And his beautiful girlfriend, Molly, who is a school teacher, hopefully on a new job in Massachusetts. My wonderful dear friend from day one, who has not, who was undaunted in her work, is Eve Stevens in the back. An amazing pastor to be. She actually had a wonderful opportunity to be engaged to Stephen, who just graduated law school. And who have asked me to actually preside in their wedding.
Yeah, well, I'm in the wedding too.
Oh, we talked about that. That's great. Okay. Rich and Caitlin, wonderful friends. Rich and I actually worked on Student Center for the past 2 years at Seminary. he will, as the food comes out shortly, give a blessing over that food. But the one person I'd like to stand and give us a toast is someone who works at the seminary for many years.
We don't have to talk.
Okay, we don't have to. Michael is actually now the director of housing for Union Theological Seminary. He helps countless young seminarians find a place, find a home, and feel a part of that institution, and has graced me with 3 beautiful places to live over the last 3 years. I'd ask you if you could to lead us in the toast, and then we'll have a blessing, have some food, and I'll be back later to finish the sermon that Darrell doesn't want me to do. Thank you all for being here.